What is going on, everybody? It's the Frost, and we're here for a Monday Night Raw review for last night's Monday Night Raw. My internet's down at my house again, so, gotta make do with what I got. So we're here, we're gonna get this done. Of course, we had the return of Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins, Finn Balor and a tag team partner of his choosing versus Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush, and Kurt Angle making his announcement on who he was going to face at WrestleMania, and it is a disappointing one. It's just WWE has got to find ways to disappoint us. But Kurt Angle came out tonight and said he's happy that WWE allowed him to decide who he was going to face at WrestleMania. And quite honestly, I don't buy that with this. If this is who Kurt Angle really wanted to wrestle at WrestleMania, then I don't want to see this match. I don't want to see it. I know you don't want to see it, but we will see it at WrestleMania, and we'll get to that as we will. The show started off with Paul Heyman and Universal Champion Brock Lesnar. Heyman goes on to speak about WrestleMania and how Seth Rollins should not come at him at Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, especially after what happened last week, and the fact that he's going to be challenging Drew McIntyre tonight. But Drew McIntyre does eventually come out. Heyman does praise Drew McIntyre and then asks what Rollins is thinking in accepting a match with McIntyre tonight, this close to WrestleMania. The music interrupts and out comes Drew McIntyre. Drew says it is refreshing to finally get the respect he deserves in WWE. Fans are very hypocritical because Brock Lesnar, the crowd's cheering and everything when this show starts. Brock Lesnar's music hits, Brock Lesnar comes out, and the fans are cheering. As soon as Paul Heyman opens his mouth to start talking, fans start to boo. Drew does tell them to shut up as they are booing him. He brags on brutalizing Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose last week. Drew suggests to Lesnar that to direct Paul Heyman to find a new WrestleMania 35 opponent because Rollins won't make it to WrestleMania after tonight's match. Out of nowhere, Seth Rollins with a chair to the back of Drew McIntyre, and he goes to work on Drew's back as chants one more time. Officials do eventually break it up, and Rollins runs off, but he unloads with some more chair shots to Drew while he's down. Lesnar watches from the ring. Rollins then goes to the ring, but Lesnar backs out. Last from ringside, Lesnar and Heyman head to the back as Rollins stands tall in the ring, both of them taunting each other. We see Bobby Lashley how Bobby Lashley took back the Intercontinental title in one of the more piss-poor ways to do it. And we see Lashley and Lio Rush as they prepare for the tag team match. This match was just, it was funny because you have Finn Balor come out, and without even letting us know who it is, because what they did was they had Balor come out, and then they had us go to commercial break. Balor cuts a promo, out comes Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush, and then his partner comes out. But before we go to commercial break, Michael Cole has to spoil the match. Who's going to be his partner? He's like, it's going to be a monstrous opponent, a monstrous partner. Yeah, he says he bets it will be a monstrous match when we go to commercial break. I'm like, are you kidding me? Kind of takes apart whoever might be the person to help Finn Balor. But when Braun Strowman's music hits, it was so funny because you just look at Lio Rush's expression. He's like, oh my god, I'm going to die. This guy killed me last time I was out here on Monday Night Raw. This guy put me through the wall. This guy, he looked like he was scared to death. It was so hilarious. But nothing big to this match at all, really. Just a Finn Balor, Bobby Lashley match, really. Rush goes to the top, hits the frog splash on Braun, who is down after a spear for a close 2 count. Rush runs around the outside of the ring now, but he's stuck between his two opponents. Balor stops Rush from going back in the ring, but Lashley makes a save as Braun Strowman was going to run him over. Lashley ends up getting run over. After he sends Balor into the timekeeper area, Rush goes back in the ring, but Braun follows and runs him over. Braun delivers a big chokeslam to Rush in the middle of the ring. Lashley looks on and just walks away. He wants no part in making a save. Braun with the big running power slam for the 1, 2, 3. What did you expect? Do I care? No. Should you? No. Just saying it. Now, moving on here. After the match, Braun and Balor stand tall in the middle of the ring. Braun's music hits. We go to replays and yada yada. We see replay of what happened last week. Dana Brooke and Ronda Rousey and officials last week. Cole talks to how Rousey was fined for her actions in storyline. Camera cuts back and we see Ronda Rousey arriving with her husband, Travis Brown. A referee, which was Nicholas's father, actually, was the referee that approached her. It was whatever. It was Nicholas's father, I know that. He says Rousey is late, and in addition to a fine, WWE has decided to hire extra security so there's not another incident like last week. Rousey just walks off and doesn't give two fucks about what he says. We go on the stage and out comes Alexa Bliss. Graves says this will be a special edition of Moment of Bliss with Elias, and we're going to skip ahead because nobody cares. Out came No Way Jose, of course, and it was Elias versus No Way Jose, a nothing match. What is with the hair of No Way Jose, may I ask? That is going to be some of the ugliest hair I've ever seen. Wait, it's fine, but it's like, what's with the green colors, dude? Elias gets aggressive and loads with the corner as the referee tries to back him off. Elias drops Jose with a clothesline. Elias with a big right hand in the corner. The conga line chants for Jose as Elias picks him up for the drift away. Elias nails it for the 1, 2, 3, and nobody cares. Back in the ring, and out comes the Kurt Angle with a side who he's going to face. Angle says his farewell tour continues in Chicago as he will have a match, so it looks like Kurt Angle is going to have a match every single week leading up to WrestleMania. Angle mentions his retirement match about WrestleMania 35 and thank you Kurt chant stood up. Angle thanks the fans and thanks the McMahon family for allowing him to pick his final opponent, which with the final opponent that was picked, I call BS. Angle says there are so many superstars he wants to face, but only one he wants to beat. The one who has made his life hell since he became Raw general manager, and immediately I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, come on, you gotta be kidding me. Angle said nothing would make him happier than to make Baron Corbin tap out at WrestleMania. Then he can retire a happy man. It's true. It's damn true. Immediately, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Baron Corbin does not deserve a spot at WrestleMania. Baron Corbin does not need to be in this spot. I would rather see the match we got tonight at WrestleMania over what we're going to get at WrestleMania. This was ridiculous. But out came Chad Gable to his old Chad Gable music. So is the Glorious Ones done? I don't know. Is the Glorious Ones done? I honestly don't know. So this was a better match and a longer match than we got against Apollo Crews. Angle, we got that viciousness from a Chad Gable that I was wanting to see from him for a good while. Gable gets up for first while Angle is still down. Gable goes to the top for a moonsault, but Angle rolls out of the way and Gable lands hard. Angle applies the ankle lock in the middle of the ring. Gable resists, but Angle drops down and tightens it. Gable finally submits to the finish, and after the match, Angle stands tall and he raises his arm. He helps Gable up for a show of respect. Baron Corbin to the stage. Fans boo, and Corbin says that's no way to welcome Angle's WrestleMania opponent. Corbin says Angle picked him. And Corbin mocked Angle. And Corbin says Angle picked him. Corbin mocked Angle for how he took his job on Raw. Corbin says that made him feel good, but nowhere near as good as it still will feel to humble him in his very last match. Corbin says it won't matter what Angle did in his career, but people will remember him for his last match. It's true. It's damn true. Angle looks on for the ring as Corbin taunts him, and fans chants thank you, Kurt. I give 0 fucks about that match. If you care about that match, then more power to you, but that match does not interest me whatsoever. I don't even care what happens in that match. I just don't. We get Brooks versus Rousey later on, but out come the women's tag team champions. Before we get to there, the Revival were talking with Baron Corbin backstage. Apollo Crews approaches and says before Kurt Angle silences Corbin at WrestleMania, he wants a shot tonight. Crews gets his match and gets the Revival to admit they don't like Corbin before walking off. Back in the ring, Charlotte Caruso is in the ring with the women's tag team champions, and after there's any truth of Banks and Bayley appearing on SmackDown this week to confront the Iconics, they say they're going to SmackDown and it will be and Sasha Banks. Bayley's just in a very cheeky voice, it will be Iconic. because she can't do the way they do it. Banks addresses WrestleMania 35, but is interrupted by Natalya and Beth Phoenix. Phoenix praises Banks and Bayley for bringing respect to the title. She wishes they had been around when she was competing. Beth goes on about the women's division and says she was almost content until she saw Nia Jax and Tamina trying to set the division back a few years. Every time they're in the ring, Beth, they do set the division back a few years. I don't know what you're talking about. Beth says they woke the dragon up. She goes on and says she loves her career and her accomplishments, but one thing is missing. They all look at the titles. Beth says she is ready to step out of retirement since Banks and Bayley have said they will take on all challengers. Phoenix says she is ready to stand beside her very best in Natalya. Not really. And challenge the champions for WrestleMania. Bayley asks Phoenix if she's sure about this and if she needs more time to prepare as she's been away for 6 years and competition has evolved. Natalya fires back and says, Bayley, with all due respect, this is Beth Phoenix, the Glamazon, a WWE Hall of Famer, and is very best. And in this very arena where she won the women's title, Banks says they live and breathe this sport, so of course they know who she is. The one who Natalya is riding the coattails of to get a match at WrestleMania. And then they start the brawl. Beth pulls Sasha off Natalya and tosses her to the mat. Bayley gets in Beth's face and they have words. Beth shoves Bayley to the mat. The referee gets to the ring and we have a match between Sasha Banks and Natalya. This match didn't go very far as Sasha Banks wins by DQ after Tamina Snuka suddenly attacks Beth Phoenix on the outside and lays her down. She also delivers a super kicks to Bayley and then Banks to get the disqualification. After the bell, Natalya runs over to check on Phoenix. Natalya goes to check on Phoenix. Jax laughs on the stage as Snuka joins her. Jax says she will see the others at WrestleMania as Jax music hits. Why do it's got to stop. Fastlane should have been it. There is no reason that Nia Jax should be, or Tamina should be anywhere near a tag team title opportunity. Why is it that every time a title opportunity shows up since SummerSlam, it seems like, or since WrestleMania last year, Nia Jax is in title contention? With all the women she has hurt, all the matches she has messed up and everything, is this a reward for hurting Becky Lynch and Becky Lynch going to WrestleMania for the Women's Championship? I don't get it. I don't get why you have to continue to give this woman opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. It needs to stop. This is enough. No more title opportunities for Nia Jax. She needs to go to the back of the line, and Tamina's no better. This has got to stop. So it looks like at WrestleMania it's going to be the Boston Hug Connection versus the Samoan Snorehouse versus the Divas of Doom versus the Iconics. Spare me, the only result of that match is Boston Hug Connection winning because there is rumors that they want to WWE wants these titles to be defended at a takeover event. And these titles were tailor-made for, if that is to happen, Sasha Banks and Bayley versus the Sky Pirates or Team Kick if Team Kick is healthy by then at takeover in June. It's been a while, but Mojo Rawley was shown backstage talking to himself and ranting about potential. He keeps asking himself, why can't you figure this out? Yells, figure it out. And that was that. What they're doing with him, I honestly do not know and honestly do not care. Jinder Mahal versus Ricochet. Who cared about Jinder Mahal? Who still cares about Jinder Mahal? Nobody. Back from break and Jinder Mahal is already out in the ring. The Singh brothers and they go to Ricochet takes control and hits a springboard dropkick. This match goes a lot longer than it probably should. Ricochet did everything he could to make this match meaningful. Ricochet makes his comeback with a shot to the back of the neck. Ricochet sends Jinder to the turnbuckle. They get up and trade shots, but Ricochet counters. Ricochet sends Jinder flying into the corner. Ricochet launches himself off the top rope, taking Jinder back down. Ricochet with a running shooting star press for a 2 count. The Singh brothers pull Jinder to safety and to regroup. Ricochet runs the rope and launches off with that cartwheel backflip to the outside, which is absolutely beautiful. Fans go crazy. Ricochet rolls Jinder in and goes up top, hits the 630 for the 1-2-3, as he should. No Aleister Black on this episode of Monday Night Raw, which is fine. We don't need to see Black and Ricochet all the time. It would not be surprising if we see Aleister Black tonight at SmackDown, but no Ricochet, which would be fine. Which would also make me wonder: is Ricochet on Raw and Black on SmackDown? If that's the case, why did you have these two teaming together for months? Why? That's what I want to know. We do hear that Sue Aitchison, who I'm sorry, I can't say her name right, who worked for WWE for 33 years on receiving the Warrior Award in 2019's Hall of Fame induction ceremony. So that tells me that the Hall of Fame induction ceremony is finished for the year. We have DX, Corey Wilson, Honky Tonk Man, and Harlem Heat. So that's only 4 other inductions, which is absolutely fine. We don't have to have 6 or 7 inductees. You know, 4 in the Warrior Award is absolutely fine, especially since DX is going to take up at least an hour worth of your time. I am fine with that. Dana Brooke versus Ronda Rousey. Back from break, though, we do hear from Seth Rollins. Before we get to that match, he talks about tonight's match with Drew McIntyre and says the beating will be for Roman and Dean Ambrose for what Drew did last week. He hopes Brock is watching. Rollins says he will fight fire with fire. Rollins goes on and says he will burn Suplex City down at WrestleMania 35. Charlie is backstage with Dana Brooke next. Dana is asked if she knows what she's got herself into, says this is the road to WrestleMania where dreams become reality. Underdogs make history. She says she's not naive. She knows she might not be better than Ronda Rousey, but she only has been better for 3 seconds. Dana walks off and heads to the ring, and this match did not happen very long. Rousey delivers a big jumping knee. Well, Rousey tries to kick Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke catches that, slaps her, and then Ronda Rousey beats the living piss out of her, puts her in an armbar, a legit armbar, not that BS bullshit armbar we've seen multiple times. She actually had a legit armbar and just holds it as she taps out and continues to hold it for a good while until the referee finally breaks it up. She shoves the referee, goes over to her husband, kisses him. Security guard approaches, and Rousey drops him. Brown also drops a guard in the chaos. Rousey and Brown lead together as we go to replays. And Dana Brooke's arm is probably in a sling in the back. Backling break, we see what happened. Cole says she was receiving medical attention, and it was a waste of time. Why did this match have to happen? We know that Ronda Rousey is a badass. We know Ronda Rousey could whip a woman's arm off or a guy's arm off if she had to. Quite honestly, we don't need to see Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, or Ronda Rousey for the rest of the build towards WrestleMania. Just leave it on YouTube, leave it on WWE.com, whatever. You don't need to use this match is set. The tone is set. Everything else on WrestleMania needs the time over Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. Those guys are done. They've done their job. Everybody's ready for that match. We don't need Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, or Charlotte Flair on TV for the rest of the WrestleMania build, period. Baron Corbin versus Apollo Crews. Baron Corbin actually loses this one as he goes for the end of days and Crews rolls him up out of nowhere for the pin. I really don't care. Corbin has words with the referee getting in his face, and then Kurt Angle comes out to the stage to stand tall with Crews, so... Next up, we saw the Batista side of the story. Back from break, and we see what recent happenings with Batista and Triple H for the No Holds Barred match at WrestleMania 35. Batista joins Michael Cole now via satellite from his home in Tampa. I doubt that. They talk about Batista being angry at Triple H. Cole asks if goes back to their days in Evolution together. Batista said it goes back way further than that. He keeps hearing that he owes his career to Triple H. Batista goes on how Triple H just used him for muscle just like he did with others in DX. Triple H has always used people to make himself look good. Batista says he was used like some big meathead to protect Triple H. He says Triple H used him, held him down, shut him out, talked down to him, and underestimated him. Cole asked about Batista quitting in 2010 and if he blames Triple H for how he walked out on the heights of his career. Batista says yes. Why shouldn't he? But he wants Cole to stop saying he quit. Which actually, if you go back to that. In WWE canon on WWE TV, Batista was in the middle of the ring in a wheelchair, bandaged up, and said, I quit, threw down the mic, and that's the last time we saw Batista for 4 years. Batista talks about Triple H being jealous of him and insecure of him, knowing he can't beat him while not giving him a fair shot. Batista says he left WWE because Triple H, who taught him he wasn't big enough a star for WWE. Batista says he left WWE and found worldwide fame. Now he's back to get that match he won at WrestleMania 35. Cole says Triple H has always been fair to him. Plus, look what he's done for the people who in the NXT. He says Triple H, as a cerebral assassin, has everyone fooled. That's what he does. He goes on about how bad the real Triple H is. Batista says one day, hopefully soon, Vince McMahon will wake up and fire Triple H, ending his professional career. Batista says at WrestleMania he's going to end Triple H's in-ring career. Batista ends the interview by yelling at the workers to get out of his office. Cole types no-hold-bar match at WrestleMania. I'm just going to be honest right here. If it came down to it and Triple H actually was, for whatever reason, fired from WWE, I honestly think he could go out there and start his own wrestling promotion and probably be very successful after all of his time in NXT. I'm sure he would have a bunch of people. I know this is not going to happen, but unless something between him and Stephanie McMahon goes south. But I could see him getting enough people behind him, and he could build up his own entity. And you think all of wrestling's got WWE in the corner. If Triple H had to leave WWE for whatever reason, it would be interesting to see what he would do, because I don't think if that was to ever happen, which I know it's not going to happen, like I said, unless something between Stephanie and Triple H goes downhill, that would just be funny. Charlie Caruso's backstage talking about how Braun Strowman recently upset SNL stars Michael Shea and Colin Jost. We see a replay of how Strowman destroyed the car, which conveniently, right after that segment was over, Mattel put out a WWE toy where you could destroy a car that looked exactly the same with a Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman doesn't care what they have to say on social media. The bottom line is that they came to his house and disrespected WWE. Braun goes on to reveal that he will be entering the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal this year to make sure he can put hands on enough people so that when he sees them backstage. Out comes Alexa Bliss and interrupts, saying she can't have Braun putting his hands on Jost and Shea. She wants to fix the situation. Braun gives her 1 week to make it right, or he's coming for them. That leads us to the main event of Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins. And these two can put on a great match any time of the week. These guys are just two of the best on the main roster. This one comes down to it really easily. Rollins starts to rally now. Rollins with a two suicide dives into the barrier. Drew comes back and rolls, and Rollins hits a sling blade. Rollins keeps control and covers for a 2 count. Fans chant "burn it down" as Seth Rollins goes for a move, but Drew resists. Drew turns it around in the corner and slingshots Rollins face first into the mat for a close 2 count. More back and forth now. They end up in the corner as Drew headbutts Rollins to the mat. Rollins runs. Can we stop? I say this every time that I see it. Can we stop getting these, I know WWE likes to ban moves. Can we ban the headbutt from all of WWE? Tony Storm does it. Drew McIntyre does it. I'm pretty sure Cassius Ohno's done it sometimes too. It looks brutal. And with the fact that WWE just got over a concussion lawsuit just a little under a year ago, I think it's time to ban the headbutt completely. It just is not needed. Drew turns it around in the corner and slingshots Rollins face first into the mat. More back and forth. They end up in the corner as Drew headbutts him in the mat, as I said. Rollins backs up, hits a superplex. Rollins goes on and hits a Falcon Arrow for another 2 count, which I hate. I love the sequence, but it kind of has gotten so bad with the fact that it's still happening. I don't want to see it. Happening, because unless he's going to win a match, which he's only done once, and I believe it was against Dolph Ziggler, it kind of takes away the coolness factor of the superplex into the Falcon Arrow. That should be somebody's finish, not a setup, but a finish. Rollins gets to his feet, prepared for the stomp as fans go crazy. Rollins kicks Drew as Rock Buzzer music hits. Rollins comes out with Paul Heyman, who's holding the title up. Rollins turns around after a couple seconds into a big Claymore kick as Drew gets the pin for the 1, 2, 3. After the match, Lesnar takes the title back from Heyman and laughs with Rollins stands tall as Drew stands tall as the music hits. Drew stands over Rollins as his arms raised as we go to replays. Rollins slowly recovers into the ring as Lesnar and Heyman look onto the stage, smiling as Raw goes off the air. Why are you having Seth Rollins lose on the build to WrestleMania? 3 people should not, there's some people who should not be losing on the way to WrestleMania. Sasha Banks, Bayley, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey, Seth Rollins should not be losing on the way to WrestleMania. Daniel Bryan shouldn't be losing on the road to WrestleMania. Kofi Kingston, unless it's one way or another, should not be getting pinned unless it makes sense. This just makes Seth Rollins look very bad. There was no reason to have this match tonight. I saw this on Saturday, I believe, or Sunday, when they put this out there, and I'm like, yeah, well, they booked themselves in the corner because neither one of these guys should be losing, especially if Drew McIntyre is supposed to be facing Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, which has not been confirmed nor denied. And with Seth Rollins losing last night, it just tells me that it feels like still that Brock Lesnar is going to be retaining the title at WrestleMania. There were 3 matches that people were expecting the babyfaces to win. That would be the Universal Championship, WWE Championship, and the Raw Women's Championship. 2 of those 3 is going to happen. And quite honestly, with the way things are going and the fact that we're getting close to Saudi Arabia, which is going to be in May, and the fact that last year, the reason Roman Reigns did not win at WrestleMania is because they wanted to have Brock Lesnar be champion going into Saudi Arabia. I would not put them past them to have the title stay on Brock Lesnar going into Saudi Arabia because that's what WWE wants. That's what Saudi Arabia wants. They want the big marketable name. And unfortunately, Seth Rollins is not the big marketable name. What else are we going to do about it? I don't know what we could do, but I honestly don't see anything else happening but Seth Rollins losing at WrestleMania, and this kind of confirms it for me that Seth Rollins is not winning the title at WrestleMania no matter what. This was a terrible show again. I don't know why WWE decided to let Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin even happen. I was like, please tell me this isn't going to be, oh yeah, he's been making my life a living hell, so let's have a match at WrestleMania. I have no interest in that match. If you have an interest in that match, more power to you, but I have no desire to see Kurt Angle and Baron Corbin. We've seen it too many times. This is the biggest problem too. We've seen it 3 or 4 times already. It's not in one way, shape, or form. We've seen like 2 singles matches. One where, well, we've seen like 2 single matches. I know that Kurt Angle lost the last time these two faced each other to a deep 6, mind you, I'm pretty sure. Not a actual end of days, but a deep 6. Why would anyone want to see that match? And Dana Brooke versus Ronda Rousey was not necessary. Like I said last week, the beatdown was not necessary. Tonight's match and trying to rip her arm out was not necessary. I don't want to see Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, or Ronda Rousey until the go-home shows or WrestleMania. We don't need to see them anymore. That is time taken away from other things that need to be built up for WrestleMania. The match between those 3 are already built. We don't need to see them anymore. We don't need to see it anymore. But that's Monday Night Raw review. Before we get out of here, I will say Batista versus Triple H, I still do not care about. I mean, the Batista side of the story was, of course, his side of the story. Not much else can be said about it. He does have some truths in there. He has some his own opinions in there. But it's a match that I really like. There's no way it's going to be a great match. You have a full 100% Batista, and you have probably an 80 to 90% Triple H with the fact that his arm is pretty much his bicep. There's no way his bicep is back to 100% or whatever he tore. WWE I still don't feel interested in WrestleMania as I should. It's just WrestleMania is not as exciting as it should be. But that is your Monday Night Raw review. I will see you guys tomorrow for SmackDown Live. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter at TheFranz. Follow me on twitch.tv/TheFranz08. Hit that subscribe button. Comment down below. Like or dislike this video. And I will see you guys tomorrow for SmackDown Live. Thursday for NXT. And Saturday for Unscripted episode 62. We'll be talking and going over the exposing of WWE lies of WrestleMania attendance over the last 10 years. Until then, my name is TheFranz, and I'll see you guys later.